You might be reading this title and think, what the hell has this guy been smoking? Let me quell that thought, I don't smoke. But I do promise the title will make sense later on. Although you might think I'm crazy and you may not agree with me, but we'll talk about it in the comments. After 3 action-adventure titles failed to capture players, rumors have suggested that Ubisoft has quietly cancelled the Watch Dogs franchise. The series was supposed to be Ubisoft's next big open-world franchise, but it never quite knew what it wanted to be. 3 very different games resulted in a fairly mediocre franchise, and no amount of developers seemed to stimulate the fanbase's interest. Watch Dogs appears to have had no audience, but that does not mean that the series has nothing to offer. Watch Dogs' gameplay was, how do you put it, not unique, but the concepts it played with were. Its futuristic world was interesting. The hacking mechanics were wild, and the multiple playable characters from Watch Dogs Legion were unlike anything open-world games have done. Even if it never nailed down a direction, the concepts deserve to live on, and the best place for them may be within the Assassin's Creed franchise. Yeah, I told you we were going crazy with this, but hear me out. The first Watch Dogs was a commercial success, becoming the biggest new IP launch in the UK at the time. It brought Ubisoft fans on a dark story of revenge through the streets of a technologically advanced Chicago, giving them full control of the city's systems. It was a powerful journey, and the hacking mechanics let players run wild within its game world. It felt like the series was going to become another Ubisoft mainstay like Assassin's Creed, but things drastically changed as the franchise progressed. Watch Dogs 2 completely changed the tone of the series to be wackier, bringing players to a more vibrant open world. The hacking mechanics were still emphasized and expanded upon, but the game took a very different direction than its predecessor. While many critics liked this change, the sales numbers at launch were considerably lower than the first game. Nevertheless, Ubisoft greenlit a 3rd game, taking the Watch Dogs series even further from its roots. Watch Dogs Legion introduced an innovative protagonist system that let players control every single resident of London. It was the main selling point, and it ended up being a lot of fun to mess around with. However, everything else about the game was lackluster. It received the lowest reviews of any game in the series and seems to have ultimately killed any future hacking adventures. Nothing has been confirmed yet, but rumors suggest that the days of Watch Dogs are over. The Watch Dogs series may have struggled to gain an audience, but the concepts it played with could still live on in Assassin's Creed. There are already lots of references scattered throughout both franchises, and many fans have speculated that Watch Dogs and Assassin's Creed are set in the same universe. Even though there was an Assassin's Creed crossover in Watch Dogs Legion, Ubisoft has maintained that the 2 games are unrelated. There is no reason why this cannot change. One of the most underdeveloped parts of the current Assassin's Creed games is the modern-day storyline. Beware of spoilers for Assassin's Creed 3 right now. Ever since Desmond died at the end of Assassin's Creed 3, the story has lacked direction. It is a core part of the franchise, and it deserves to be as interesting as the rest of the story. Adding Watch Dogs' narrative to the modern-day storyline could be exactly what the series needs. There are already many similarities, and now is the time to capitalize on those similarities. If done right, folding the 2 franchises into one would only benefit the narrative in the long run. Not only should the story of Watch Dogs bleed into the modern-day sections of Assassin's Creed, but the multiple playable character system should too. The Assassin's Creed franchise has always played around with the concept of building a brotherhood, and now it should actually let players control said brotherhood. The story should still focus on a specific set of assassins, but Watch Dogs Legion systems could let players control as many of them as they wanted. The future of Assassin's Creed appears to be bright because Ubisoft begins to develop a number of new titles for the franchise. But the future of Watch Dogs appears to be less bright. The company is likely to be focusing entirely on its other open-world series. But that does not mean Watch Dogs is doomed entirely. It already feels like a futuristic Assassin's Creed, and Ubisoft just needs to take it a step further. That's it. That is my opinion. That said, I'd like to propose a trade. I will give you this digital cookie in exchange for your subscription. Simply push that button that says subscribe right there underneath the video. Fantastic. Now this cookie is all yours. Go on, enjoy it, and I'll see you in the next video.